go ahead, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, put in your comments. Thank you. Ooh, welcome to the ultimate NFL season preview for all 32 teams in the NFL. So, at the start of every NFL season, we're going to make sure we're up to date on what's going on in the NFL. A lot has gone on over the summer. The free agent signings, the draft has come and gone, coaching changes in the NFL for different teams. So, that actually affects teams in different ways. So, what I do here is I go do the research, I go do the work, and I do an ultimate team previews for all 32 teams in the NFL. I'm going to breeze through a lot of things that I consider not that important, but we're going to give our thoughts here on the NFL season as well. So, I'm going to do this division by division. So, I'm going to start with the AFC East, do all of the AFC, and then I'm going to end with the NFC West. So we're going to start with the NFC East, and we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. We're going to take a look here at the team preview for the 2025-2026 NFL season for the Buffalo Bills. First thing we're going to know, I got to like always to remind myself, what was the record of the Buffalo Bills in the regular season? 2024. 13th excellent team. Josh Allen was amazing again as a quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, and they ended up winning 13 games and losing in the AFC Championship game to the Kansas City Chiefs that went on to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. Nothing has really changed over the last year in the coaching ranks. Head coach Sean McDermott, offensive coordinator Joe Brady in his second year, Bobby Babich, defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Star players, adding Joey Bosa. I don't know if at this time in his career he's still a star player, but that would be a notable addition to the defense for the Buffalo Bills. Going to be playing the role of Von Miller, basically what Von Miller did for the team last year, as the wily old veteran superstar pass rush specialist. Notable departures from the team: Jordan Phillips, defensive lineman, is no longer with the Buffalo Bills. Von Miller is no longer with the Buffalo Bills, and Rasul Douglas, cornerback, not currently with the Buffalo Bills. Let's take a look at how this team in general performed over the 2024 season, both offensively and defensively. Offensively, they were really good. They were top 10 in the rushing game, and they were top 10 in the passing game. Ninth position, ninth best team in the NFL, 131 rushing yards, 227 pass yards. So pretty very balanced offense, with Josh Allen also helping the rushing attack as well. And ninth best passing attack in the NFL. Total yards, they were 10th, top 10 in the NFL, and total points per game, 30.9, second in the NFL. So they were top 10 in major offensive categories last year, and second best in points per game as well in the old NFL offensively. Defensively, they were a very average team. Points per game, they were 11th overall, but their overall total yards per game, they were 17. So this was an average kind of defense. Their pass defense was really bad, 23rd in the NFL out of 32 teams. Rush defense, 12th in the NFL out of 32 teams. Total points per game, 21.6 points given up. They were 11th best defense points per game in the NFL. So you would say the offense were impressive, top 10. The defensively, they were middle of the pack in 2024. Have they made any major changes? Continuity would help. Offensively, they should still be a top 10 offense in every category this season. Defensively, if they can make a step forward there, maybe they go above just being an AFC championship. Actually. So mainly they will be looking to go from an AFC championship team that lost to the Kansas City Chiefs to winning the Super Bowl. That would be the goal of the Buffalo Bills. So going into 2025, pretty straightforward. If you were a top 4 team in honor of the NFL the previous season, you want to get over the hump, you got Josh Allen and actually win the entire team in the NFL. So for the Buffalo Bills, that would probably be a goal for this team in the 2025 season. Next on the AFC East is the Miami Dolphins. How did last season go? Injury plagued year for the Miami Dolphins last year. They finished with an 8-9 record. It seems like a better record than you would have thought, the way they struggled closer to the end of the season with injuries to Tua, backup quarterbacks Tyler Huntley, and others coming in and not getting much on offense for this team. Did anything change with the coaching staff? No, not exactly. Tua is expected to start the season healthy, so that would be important. Tyreek Hill had a down year due to all the quarterback changes as well. Devon Achane struggled with a little bit of injury, and they did bring in Minka Fitzpatrick, gave him a big contract from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's the main addition of the Minka Fitzpatrick. Departures: Teron Armstead retired, Jalen Ramsey traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jonnu Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Manuel Oba also left defensively, and a whole lot of other players no longer there with the Miami Dolphins defensively as well. Offensive and defensive ranks last year, they were 20th or worse. You would ask me, they were very average offense last year. It does seem all statistical categories, they were pretty average, not really horrible, but I think it has a lot to do with that. The offense was good with Tua and was horrible without Tua, so that makes them an average offense. Defensively against the rush, they were ninth best in 2024 against the rush. Against the pass, they were ninth best as well. Total yards per game, they gave up only 314 yards per game, and like fourth best in the NFL. Points per game, 21.4. So offensively, they did a whole lot better. Defensively, points allowed, this defense was a top 10 defense on every metric. Last year, they did lose a lot of players this year, but offensively, it was a very average offense, and that didn't allow them to have a playoff worthy season. 8-9 shows that they were an average team last year, but did lose a lot of players this season. There's a lot of question marks for the Miami Dolphins heading into the 2025-2026 season. And at the top of those question marks would be the health of Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Next would be the New York Jets. Last season, they finished with a 5-12 record with Daniel Jones, actually with Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback for the New York Jets. What a season. This would have been one of my worst outlooks. They were supposed to be a really good defensive team, and Aaron Rodgers was supposed to improve the offense. That didn't happen. It was a colossal failure in the Jets organization, and everybody got fired. So for the new season, Aaron Glenn, former defensive coordinator of the the Detroit Lions, coming over to be the head coach of the New York Jets. So we have a new offensive coordinator, Dana Engstrand, and Steve Wilks will be the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. Starting quarterback this year, Justin Fields, signed to a mid-tier contract to be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. We know the star players of this team: Garrett Wilson, Brennan Williams, the fantastic defensive lineman, and the newly minted, freshly paid Sauce Gardner cornerback. The New York Jets. Notable additions: Justin Fields signed to be the quarterback. Got Josh Reynolds, wide receiver, and Derek Nagy from the Kansas City Chiefs, defensive tackle, coming in for the Jets organization. Just a quick look at their 2024 offensive and defensive stats. With Aaron Rodgers, this offense was horrible with a rush, 16th with a pass, 24th points per game. Offense was really bad. Defensively, really good against the pass. They were fourth best in the NFL, 192 points given up in the air. Defensively, rush-wise, 17th ranked rushing defense, and points per game, 23.8 points given up, 19th best in the NFL the 2024 season. They had a 5-win record in 2024. I think they could do a little. They're probably going to do a little bit better than that this season. Are they a playoff team? I don't think so. What are the questions going into the season for the New York Jets that we're looking at here? Defensively, can they go back to being an elite team defensively, which they were not last year? That would be something to look at with the defensive head coach as well. Offensively, can Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson hook up? Breece Hall, the running back, as well. Would that be enough to boost that offense to where they can actually win enough games to kind of make the playoffs? Those would be questions looking to be answered in the 2025-2026 season. And finally, in the AFC East, we're going to look at the New England Patriots. Changes here in the New England Patriots last season. They ended up with a 4-13 record, which means with a 4-13 record, it means they get a pick high in the draft. Mike Vrabel, new head coach after Jerod Mayo was fired last season for, I don't know, it was a bad position to put a new head coach in anyway. So it's the first season for Mike Vrabel with the New England Patriots, brings in offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, comes back after being in New England for a long time with Tom Brady, defensive coordinator, rookie defensive coordinator Terrell Williams, starting quarterback Drake May, brought in Stephon Diggs as wide receiver number 1 for this team. Christian Gonzalez is still excellent defensively for the New England Patriots. Notable departures: Detroit Wise, Joe Milton traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Jonathan Jones, no longer a member of the New England Patriots. Defensively, and the notable additions, as I said earlier, Stephon Diggs, now the wide receiver one, drafted a terrific young running back, Trevion Henderson, out of Ohio State, as well. Will Campbell, top 5 pick on lineman to protect Drake May, as well. The brought in Harold Laundry in free agency, Milton Williams, and Carlton Davis, as well. Former Tampa Bay cornerback as well. How did they do last year? Looking into this year, I expect their defense to be a whole lot better this year, but last year they were very bad on defense. 21st overall in points, 21st in total yards, 25th in rush allowed, 25th ranked rush allowed in 2024. So really bad defense. Offensively, 13th in the rush, so they could move the ball running. Passing game was non-existent. They were dead last in the NFL passing the ball in 2024. Offensively, 17 points scored per game, 30th in the whole of the NFL. This was a really bad team in 2024. With Mike Vrabel coming in and all the experience coming from Tennessee, trying to run the ball, play tough defense, this would definitely be a much better team in 2025. We're going to go now to the AFC North. And we're going to look at the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, during the regular season, finished with 12-5 record, did not get to the AFC Championship game. So that was disappointing for the Baltimore Ravens. The targets for this team, Super Bowl, you would consider a bust for this team. Coaching, still the same. Todd Monken, offensive coordinator, John Harbaugh, head coach. Zach Orr's second season as defensive coordinator after losing Mike McDonald to the Seattle Seahawks. Last season, Lamar Jackson, still an incredible MVP level quarterback for this team. Derrick Henry, superhuman running back for this team. Brought in Kyle Hamilton from the Pittsburgh Steelers, paid him, and he's going to be a top defensive player at safety for this team. Notable departures: Michael Pierce, defensive tackle, making sure the run game. Nobody runs on the Baltimore Ravens. Is now retired, so we'll see how that works. Justin Tucker, excellent kicker for them, had a bad year last year, also gone from the team. Looking back from last year, this was an excellent offense, third best points per game, first total yards per game, number one in rushing, 187.6 rushing yards per game. Bring back Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson is still there. They are going to be excellent running the ball. But defensively, they were excellent last year against the run. They were number one. Michael Pierce, defensive tackle, that's retired, was a big part of that. They were number one rushing the ball, so they were pretty good. Top 10 defense overall. Started the season poorly, ended the season very well. Pass defense, 244, 31st. And last year was really bad pass defense, but the rushing defense was so good, they were able to be a top 10 defense overall. The Super Bowl or bust for the Baltimore Ravens. There's not much else to say about that. I mean, a lot of key players. They signed Kyle Hamilton defensively to be even better. No more expectations that they run the table, have a great regular season, avoiding any injuries. They're going to be here in the Super Bowl conversation in 2025. Next, in the AFC North, we're going to look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Record last year 10-7, so you know Mike Tomlin hasn't still had a losing record as a head coach. Coaching staff remains the same from last season. Arthur Smith is still the offensive head coach, and they bring in Aaron Rodgers to be the starting quarterback this year, letting go of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Who else did they bring in to improve this team? DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. TJ Watt is still there. Jalen Ramsey coming in from the Miami Dolphins to improve the defense. So those will be key players for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Notable additions to this team, as I said, Juan Thornhill, Darius Slay defensively, Mason Rudolph as a backup quarterback, Jalen Ramsey as a cornerback, and Rodgers as the starting quarterback for this team. Who did they lose? The two quarterbacks from last year, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. They lost George Pickens in the trade to the Dallas Cowboys. Minka Fitzpatrick is now with the Miami Dolphins. Jay Harris, starting running back, is gone, and they drafted young running back Caleb Johnson in the third round to be the replacement for Najee Harris. How did they look last year without Aaron Rodgers? Doesn't mean a lot. Offensively, very average, 16 overall points per game. Defensively, they were 8th best points per game. Rush defense was really good, 6th in the NFL. Pass defense, 24th. That was not pass defense, I guess. That's why you bring in Jalen Ramsey and Juan Thornhill in the secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what do you expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers? The narrative is still, if Mike Tomlin does not have another losing season in such a difficult division with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens, that will be considered a good season. But this team definitely wants to make some noise in the playoffs and get back to challenging for championships in the NFL. Next in the AFC North would be the Cincinnati Bengals. What a rough season last year. This was a horrible defense last year. But let's get back into it. 9-8 record in 2024-2025. Didn't make the playoffs. They still return all. They return Zach Taylor, the head coach, replaced the defensive coordinator to Al Golding from Naruma, which I wouldn't think he was one of the players in that team. But offensive coordinator right now is Dan Pitcher. First season with the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is still the starter for this team. Still got his two wide receivers, excellent wide receivers. Both got paid lots of money, especially Jamal Chase. T. Higgins is back. Trey Hendrickson is on here for $30 million a year. Signed after a long offseason drama, trying to sign Trey Hendrickson to say decent defender on that team still. Don't know how good he is with how bad that defense was last year as well. Notable departures are mainly on Trent Brown, offensive line, defensive line, Sheldon Rankins. They should just take out the whole defense. There was nobody in that defense that was really good. From last year, the offense was excellent. Number one pass offense, 272.9 yards per game throwing for Joe Burrow on that offense. Overall points per game, 27.8 points per game, 6th overall in the NFL. Horrible, 24 points per round, giving up 25.5 points per game in the NFL 2024 season. The key to this team is whether this defense is better or not. The offense is going to be terrific. It's whether the Cincinnati Bengals defense will be good or not. That would determine a lot of how the season goes for the Cincinnati Bengals. And finally, in the AFC East, the Cleveland Browns. And then last season, 3-14. I don't know how much better they're going to be. Coaching staff comes back. Kevin Stefanski is the coach. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. And this year, the starting quarterback is going to be Joe Flacco, backed up by two rookies, Dylan Gabriel from Oregon and Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. Star players, Myles Garrett got paid a buttload of money. They still have Denzel Ward, and their defensive line still got Jordan Antonio and Wyatt Teller, so that's still decent. Not much of excitement going on for this team. They lost Jedrick Willis, the offensive lineman, lost a lot of players on Thornhill as well. 6 offensive linemen lost by this team, and a lot of defenders also not returning for the Cleveland Browns. How were they in 2024? Horrible as their record says. 3-14 for the season. They were the worst team offensively, points per game, 15.2 points per game, last in the NFL. Defensively, they were 26th points per games allowed. So they were horrible last year, giving up 25.6 points also in the NFL as well. Is there any positive side in this defense? No, 20th in rushing defense and also 12th passing defense for, you would say, not bottom 10, but 12 passing defense in the NFL in 2024 season. It's a year to kind of figure out what they have in Cleveland. Nobody expects them to make the playoffs. They don't have a good enough offense. There's not much out there. The defense could be good, but not a lot of competing for anything tangible. I don't even expect them to make the playoffs for the Cleveland Browns. We're going to now head to the AFC South. And we're going to start with the division winners from last year, Houston Texans in the AFC South. They're back-to-back division winners in the AFC South as well. Head coach DeMeco Ryans for the Houston Texans, offensive coordinator Nick Caley, and defensive coordinator Mike Burke. This team is projected to have a really good defense. Offensively will be the main struggle. Starting quarterback, third-year quarterback C.J. Stroud had an excellent rookie season. Last year, not so much. Star players, Nico Williams, Will Anderson Jr., Daniel Hunter, Derek Stingley Jr. As well. So they got 3 star players defensively, Daniel Hunter, Derek Stingley Jr., and Will Anderson. And defensively, that defense should and is expected to be pretty good. Notable additions for this team, Nick Chubb coming off a bad injury. How good is he going to be at running back? That would be a big concern for the Houston Texans all year. Notable departures, traded Laramie Tunsil out of the team, so that's questionable. Kenyon Green, offensive guard, that's questionable. The offensive line wasn't great, but taking away your best ones doesn't actually help as well. Bringing in Stephon, also letting go of Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs now has signed with the New England Patriots. What were their ranks last year? Actually, they were 18th in points per game. That's bottom half of the league, points per game. And uh, did they do anything well offensively? Average last year, both passing and rushing for the Houston Texans team. They were not that good. 14th, 21.9 points given up per game, 14th overall in the whole league. Their pass defense was pretty good, top six, 201 pass yards per game. They also top five in total yards in the NFL. So that defense is expected to be a little better. It was a top 10, we would say, top most categories defense last season in the NFL. Houston win the division, make it run in the playoffs. That would be the challenge and what this team would be expecting from themselves in the 2025-2026 season. We're going to go to team preview for the Indianapolis Colts. Last year, they finished with a 9-8 record, actually an 8-9 record. The Indianapolis Colts finished with last season. So you would say a very, very average year. Shane Steichen is back with this team. Defensive coordinator, they brought in Narumo from the Cincinnati Bengals. Offensive coordinator, Jimbo Scooter for the Indianapolis Colts. Making a change at quarterback, Richardson is not going to be the quarterback for this team to start the year. It will be Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. They still got Quentin Nelson, DeForest Buckner, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. as star players on this team. And notable additions for this team, drafting the tight end Tyler Warren as well. On here, I'm bringing in some defensive players to improve that poor defense from last year. Travis Word, Neville Gallimore, defensive tackle, and Cameron Bynum, safety, added to the Indianapolis Colts as well. Stats from last year, very average offense, 17th ranked, 22.2 points scored per game. The rushing offense was pretty good, 8 overall in all of the league. Passing offense was horrible, 24th overall last season. Defensively, they were really bad. Bottom 10 ranked third in every single category defensively. 28 in total yards per game given up by this defense. Were literally bottom of everything defensively. I had to improve that a lot. For Indianapolis Colts, Shane Steichen feeling the pressure, going with Daniel Jones. This team wants to make the playoffs. Their division is not very good, so they are probably hoping to make playoffs in 2025-2026 season. Next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2024 record, 4-13. Pretty bad considering you paid your quarterback and you have really expensive quarterback and it's supposed to be good. That didn't happen. You know what that means? Bringing a new coach, that Gohan coming from as offensive coordinator from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Offensive coordinator new, Brad Rudinsky, Anthony Campanile. Defensive coordinator, starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Star players, rookie notebook high draft pick for both offense and defense, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., Josh Hines Allen, Armstead on the defensive side for this team. Those will be notable players. And of course, they drafted Travis Hunter, the incredible Colorado product, to play both offense and defense. See what he brings to this team. This team lost 2 offensive players, Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram going to the Denver Broncos. So we'll see how the pieces actually fit offensively here for them. Going back to last season, which would have been a lot, considering it's a new coach as well. But they finished points per game 18.8, 25th overall in the league. Horrible offense, horrible defense, 25.6 points per game, moving up 27th in all of the NFL. So this team had a horrible year. They want to flush it down and try to make the playoffs. Next in the AFC South will be the Tennessee Titans, drafted number 1 overall with a 3-14 record from last year. Brian Callahan is back as the head coach, drafting number 1 overall Cam Ward. So we're expected to lead this team offensively. Star players, defensively, L'Jarius Sneed has been incredible for this team defensively. He's back. And looking at the other players that this team added offensive line, Kevin Ziegler from the Detroit Lions, Tyler Lockett, wide receivers were coming from the Seattle Seahawks. Notable departures, Harold Landry, incredible edge player for the Tennessee Titans for a long time. Chidobe Awuzie, cornerback, but also with this team as well. Looking back at their ranks last year, horrible offensively, 18.3 points scored per game, 26 in all of the NFL. This was a quarterback, and you can say it was an absolute disaster for this offense. Bright spots in the defense. They were number 2 passing defense in all of the NFL, giving up 177 passing yards per game. Total yards per game, 311.2, number 2 as well. So with Legere Sneed and that secondary and that pass defense, if they can maintain that, that was elite level stuff from the Tennessee Titans. Points per game, 27.1 points given up. They were 30th in all of the NFL. Horrible rush defense. You could just run the ball over them. 133.9 yards given up, 25th in all of the NFL last season. Poor coaching as well in the Tennessee Titans as well. Want to do better. Want to develop their young rookie quarterback. That would be the goal for them. Not really looking at chances of being a championship contender yet. 4, the Tennessee Titans. Next up would be the Kansas City Chiefs from the AFC West. Super Bowl finalist, finished with a 15-2 record in all of the NFL last year, was the top team in the AFC in the regular season. You know, the top guys are all back, and Reid, Matt Nagy offensively, defensively, Steve Spagnuolo, starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Defensively, the star players, Chris Jones is back, Trent McDuffie, cornerback, is also back, and they lost some players, Joe Tooney, defensively, Justin Reid, the safety. Going back to last year, it was a very average offense, 15th overall, 22.6 points scored per game. So this offense wasn't good. Both rushing and passing were very, very average. Defensively, they were pretty good. Points per game, 19.2. They were 4th overall in all of the NFL. In all categories, was a top 10 team in the NFL. Pass defense, not as great, to 18.8 yards, giving up 18th overall last season. They still finished with a 15-2 record. I don't think they go get anywhere close to 13, 14 wins this year, but they'll still be a good team. It's an Andy Reid coach team. It's a Patrick Mahomes led team as well, so they should still be good. The Super Bowl for them or bust. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not, but they're still a really good team in the NFL. We're going to go next in the AFC West is the Denver Broncos, finishing with a 10-7 record in the 2024 season as well. Sean Payton coming in for his second year here with the Denver Broncos. Retained defensive coordinator Vance Joseph, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi. We know Sean Payton is the offensive coordinator for this team. Bo Nix comes back as the starting quarterback after having an incredible, fantastic rookie year. Star players, Patrick Surtain, the second cornerback, absolutely fantastic cornerback for Denver Broncos. We got Cortland Sutton, wide receiver, getting paid. The offseason, Talanoff, Hufanga, free agency coming in from the San Francisco 49ers as also a big free agent signing for the Denver Broncos. Notable departures, Javonte Williams going to the Dallas Cowboys. And from last year, offensively, they were 10th overall, 25 points per game scored. Passing game, 20th overall. Rushing game, 16th overall. Very average offense. Good enough where you have a top defense, top 3 defense in most categories in the NFL. Rushing, 3rd overall. Didn't give up much. Rushing, passing the ball. Bo Nix has work to do, 19th overall. Points per game, 3rd best defense. Good coaching also for the Denver Broncos. I would say this team is as good as anyone defensively. Offensively, they'll need progress and improvement. Added Evan Ingram for Bo Nix should help. Bringing in J.K. Dobbins, drafting another running back, R.J. Harvey, for that offense should help the Denver Broncos. I see them being better than last season's regular season record, but can they compete in the playoffs? That will be up to Bo Nix and his development in year 2 for the young quarterback. Next will be the LA Chargers, AFC West. Last season finished an 11-6 record. First season for Jim Harbaugh in LA. Greg Roman is back. Jesse Minter as defensive coordinator is also back. Quarterback, Justin Herbert. Unfortunate news, star player Rashawn Slater, left tackle for the team, is out for the season. Luckily, they did draft a top right tackle last year. We got to left tackle Joe Alt, so can step in. Like McConkey, excellent year last year for the wide receiver as well. Notable additions for this team, Mekhi Becton in the offensive line and Tyler Conklin from the New York Jets added for the LA Chargers. Just going back to who they lost, Christian Fulton, cornerback, and Joey Bosa, defensive end, also lost for the LA Chargers. From last year's rank, this team loves to rush the ball. Still, they were 17th in the NFL in rushing the ball, 110 yards rushing the ball. Passing, 19th overall, 213.5 passing yards. Very, very average offense, 11th overall in points per game, 23.6 points per game. Defensively, they were first in points per game. This team does not make a lot of mistakes at all. But rushing defense, 14th overall, passing defense, 7th overall, but number one in points per game allowed in the NFL. So I expect them to still have incredibly coached and organized and structured team. The Chargers should be on here. This will be a really fun division. The AFC West with the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos being three teams that will be vying to improve and actually take control and win that division after the Chiefs has dominated for several years. Finally, in the AFC West, we're going to look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Finished with a 4-13 record last season, so they got to go higher. Pete Carroll, first season with the coach. Chip Kelly coming in, first season as well with the Las Vegas Raiders. Patrick Graham is the defensive coordinator, and they brought in Geno Smith and signed him as well as the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby, still incredible defensive end for this team defender. Bowers, the incredible this will be his second year, Brock Bowers. Tight end, his rookie season, excellent rookie. Tight end in fact, record breaking for the Las Vegas Raiders. Ashton Jeanty, drafted 6th overall, I think, with the Las Vegas Raiders, and is expected to be the bell cow running back for this team as well. Notable departures, all the saga with Christian Wilkins, Gardner Minshew is gone, and Kilavon Kiason, edge rusher, also gone for the Las Vegas Raiders. Stats from last year that might not matter much, too many changes. 28 overall points per game offensively, so horrible offense with Gardner Minshew and Aidan Connell. And then look at defensively, they were 25th in points per game. For 2025, expect them to be a whole lot better. Pete Carroll is going to ask more from this team. Long-time former Super Bowl winning coach Pete Carroll with the Seattle Seahawks. Not expecting a whole lot from this team in terms of competing for playoffs or championships, but should just be a tough team to play in a really, really strong division as well. And now to the NFC. We're going to start with the NFC East, and we're going to start with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. 2024 record, 14-3 over the course of the regular season, and they went ahead to win the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Complete beatdown in that final. Nothing has changed. Well, something has changed in the coaching staff. Nick Sirianni is still the head coach. Kellen Moore is no longer the offensive coordinator. He took the New Orleans Saints job, and an internal promotion for Kevin Patullo to the offensive coordinator position. Defensive coordinator, still Vic Fangio. Jalen Hurts is still Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the team and Super Bowl winning quarterback. Star players, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, incredible rushing year last year. Lane Johnson, right tackle. Devonta Smith, wide receiver, and second-year cornerback Quinion Mitchell. Notable additions, Adoree Jackson, cornerback, Josh Uche, linebacker, Azeez Ojulari, linebacker as well. Also departed for the Super Bowl champions. As you know, other teams will try to pay and take your best players. Milton Williams, defensive tackle, signed a great deal with the New England Patriots, I think. Josh Sweat, the Arizona Cardinals. Brandon Graham, retired. Mekhi Becton, gone. James Bradbury, Darius Slay, now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, gone as well. From the Philadelphia Eagles, they're the Super Bowl champions. Their key top players are still there. They're going to reload on the back for the 2025 season. Last year, second best rushing team in all of the league, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. 28 best, 28 were, I don't know, best or worst passing offense. It doesn't matter when you rush as well as you do. Pass the ball for only 187.9. That doesn't tell the full picture. As an offense, 27.2 points scored, 7th best in all of the NFL. Offensive yards allowed per game. This was a really solid defense all year, top 10 in every single defensive metric. Finished the year as the 10th best rushing defense and was the best passing defense in all of the NFL. Total yards per game were the best in all of NFL, gave up only 278.4 yards per game, allowed only 17.8 points per game as well in the NFL, second best in all of the NFL. Eagles reloaded back with their main top players, looking to kind of plug in defensive exits from the team. This team will take a step back probably defensively. Excellent defense, top three defense in all categories last year. Will probably take a step back, and the offense will need to step up a little bit more. But they have what it takes. AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, and like I said, Von Barkley as well. Devonta Smith as well on this team. So they got what it takes to actually run it back. We'll see if they actually do that in the 2025-2026 season. Next would be the Washington Commanders. Aiden Daniels, excellent 2024 rookie year for him. Team finished with 12-5 record. Coaching staff back. Dan Quinn, head coach. Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator. Joe Jr., defensive coordinator. But we know Dan Quinn runs the defense. Jaden McDaniels, star quarterback for this team, second year. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin has been paid. Brought in Darren Tonsil to protect the quarterback. Darren Payne brought in defensive tackle as well. 4 star defensive tackle for the Washington. Notable additions: Larry Tunsil, Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback, and Deebo Samuel coming from the San Francisco 49ers. Lost Jonathan Allen and Jeremy Chain on the defensive side of the ball. But, they got Frankie Louvu on that defense in Washington. They need to improve the defense in Washington going into this 2025-2026 NFL season. Last year, offensively, third best rushing offense. Last year, 154 yards per game. Overall yards per game, 369.6, 7th best in all of the NFL. Passing game, 215.6, 17th, maybe not necessary when you rush so well. Points per game, 28.5 points per game, 5th in all of the NFL. Top 5 defense, excellent. Top 5 offense, excellent offense last year. Defensively, very average, 23 points given up, 18th overall in the NFL. Very average. Their rush defense was horrible, 126 rushing yards, giving up 27 in all of the NFL. Pass defense was excellent, third best. But there's a correlation with that. If people can run on you, they're probably not throwing a lot. So total yards per game, 30th in all of the NFL was really, really, really bad for the Washington Commanders. Ended up going to the NFC Championship game where they lost badly to the Philadelphia Eagles. Regular season finished with a 12-5 record. It's the Detroit Lions in the playoffs as well. So remarkable year for the Washington Commanders, trying to repeat or do better. Second season will be very difficult to repeat because the whole league has tape on the excellent quarterback, but we'll see if they can actually get back to the championship game and try to make a run at the Super Bowl. Also in the NFC East, we got the Dallas Cowboys. Big storyline, Micah Parsons, now a member of the Green Bay Packers. Dallas Cowboys traded him and got Kenny Clark back and 2 first-round picks. Last season, they finished with a 7-10 record. Can they even get that record this year? That would be interesting to find out. New head coach Brian Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus coming after losing the Chicago Bears. Coaching job, starting quarterback Dak Prescott, hopefully he's healthy all year. Star players, CeeDee Lamb and Daron Bland, the cornerback that had an excellent season last year. There will be another excellent defensive season by him this year. There's no Micah Parsons to help in front and help you get those picks on the back end. But he got paid. Excellent news for Daron Bland. Notable additions to this team: George Pickens as wide receiver number 2, Javonte Williams as starting running back, and Kenny Clark in the Micah Parsons trade. Micah Parsons is gone, DeMarcus Lawrence is gone, and Zach Martin retired on the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. 2024 stats: horrible rush defense, 26th in all of the NFL. Horrible rush defense, horrible rush offense. 26th as rush offense, in rush defense in all of the NFL. Horrible defensively, allowed 27.1 points per game. Horrible defense, offensively, 20th overall, 20.6. Dak Prescott injury contributed to that, so I expect the offense to be better. But in the 2025 season, offense should be better if Dak Prescott stays healthy. They are better than the 20th best offense with Dak Prescott. They were top 5 offense of the season ago before last season in the NFL. Dallas Cowboys, I don't expect a lot from them. It's going to be a long year in Dallas. But that's how the owner of the team, Jerry Jones, likes it. They will talk about them in Dallas. Next would be the New York Football Giants. Last year's record, 3-14. So this year, moves were made. Brian Daboll still the coach. Mike Kafka, offensive coordinator. Shane Bowen, defensive coordinator. Quarterback, Russell Wilson. Star players, Malik Neighbors, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter. See how there are 3 defensive line players as star players on that team. And Kevin Thibodeau as well on that defensive line. That will be the strength of this
team. Last year, horrible offense, 16.1 points scored, 31st in all of the NFL. Defensively, middle of the pack, 20th overall in points per game in all of the NFL. I expect this team to be a whole lot better than last year. This defensive line would be a problem. And if any kind of decent play from the offense is gotten, they should have a way better season, have a chance to sneak in one of the wildcard spots, but generally they'll be a competitive team, in my opinion, in 2025. Going on to the NFC North. This was a division last year, very competitive division. You had 3 teams win over 10 games in this division. We're going to start with the Detroit Lions here. Last season had a 15-2 record. Last year was the best. I think that was the best record in the NFC. Yes, it was. And they did win their division ahead of the Minnesota Vikings in a 14-3 record. Head coach Dan Campbell got a rookie offensive coordinator, rookie defensive coordinator, try to do internal promotions on this team. John Martin, offensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, defensive coordinator. Going to be rough on that side, losing the offensive and defensive coordinators or head coaching positions. That shows you we're good when you lose something as well on your team. Amon-Ra St. Brown, still on this team. Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, hopefully coming back from that injury and still be good. Taylor Decker, left tackle for this team. Lost key offensive line players. Frank Ragnow, center, retired. Kevin Zeitler traded away, or rather signed in free agency away from the team. Carlton Davis, cornerback, is also gone in this team. From last year, offensively, this was number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. Number 1, 33.2 points per game scored by the Detroit Lions. Rushing offense, 6th in the NFL. Passing offense, 2nd in the NFL. Defensively, horrible. Passing yards allowed per game, 31st. And rushing yards allowed per game, they were 2nd. So pretty good on the rush, horrible on the pass. Altogether ranked 20th yards per game in the NFL. And points per game given up to ranked 7th, 20.1 points given up by the Detroit Lions. Defensively, it's Super Bowl for this team. That's what they're going to be gunning for. I think they lost a lot in their coordinators. It's going to be a rough season, in my opinion. Offense is still going to be pretty good. Let's see how the defense actually turns up in 2025. Next team in the NFC North is the Minnesota Vikings with their head coach, Kevin O'Connell, 14-3 record in 2024. Brian Flores is back as defensive coordinator. Wes Phillips is the offensive coordinator, but we know Kevin O'Connell calls the plays. Starting JJ McCarthy, the second-year player that got injured and didn't play last year. Sam Darnold had a good year for the team. Now with the Seattle Seahawks. Star players, Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw on the offensive line. Got Aaron Jones running back, defensive, Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle, TJ Hawkinson, tight end. Notable additions, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, and Jordan Mason as a running back for this team coming from the San Francisco 49ers. Who departed from this team? Sam Darnold, Shaquille Griffin, Cam Robinson, offensive tackle, center Garrett Bradbury. Lost a lot of players. 5 offensive linemen, 4 defensive backs, 1 defensive lineman. Lost a lot of players, but they also did restock to be able to be a competitive team in the NFL this season. From last year, offensively, very average, 20.2 points per game scored, 22nd in the NFL. Defensively, very good, 19.5 points allowed, 15 all of the NFL. As well, finished with 14-3 record, made the playoffs, didn't go very far in it, looking to grow their quarterback, JJ McCarthy, and give them a chance, probably have a good regular season and also to go deeper in the playoffs. It's going to be a rough season, but I think Kevin McConnell can draw up offensive plays, and Brian Flores, a good coach as well, can allow this team with a deep roster to be pretty good in 2025. Next is one of my favorite teams, is the Green Bay Packers in 2025-2026 season. Last year finished on 11-6 record. Matt LaFleur is still there. Defensive coordinator Adam Stenavich. Jeff Hurley is the defensive coordinator. Quarterback Jordan Love, injured most of last year, 2 major injuries played through last year. If he's healthy this year, they're going to be pretty good. Star players, 2 defensive line superstars in Micah Parsons and Rashan Gary, Adrian Cooper as well for the Green Bay Packers. Notable additions, Matthew Golden, first-round wide receiver, Micah Parsons coming from the Dallas Cowboys. We all know Micah Parsons, and we all know what he can do for this Green Bay defense. Jay Alexander is gone from Green Bay Packers, and as part of the Micah Parsons trade, Kenny Clark, defensive tackle, is also gone. Last year, They were good offensively, 8th overall. I expect them to be better this year. Defensively, they were 6th best defense, 19.9 points given up. Michael Parsons is going to make them better in 2025. And finally, in the NFC North, we got the Chicago Bears. 5-10 record last year, actually 5-12 record last year. And coming into this year, has a new coach in Ben Johnson, brings in Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator and Declan Doyle as the offensive coordinator. He's going to be calling the plays, who's the head coach, Ben Johnson as well. Caleb Williams, the quarterback for this team. Star players, DJ Moore, wide receiver Jalen Johnson, cornerback for this team as well. Brought a lot of players in the offensive line, 2 major signings in the offensive line, Joe Tooney and Jonah Jackson, to improve the very bad offensive line last year. Going back to last year, horrible offense, 18.2 points scored, 28 in all of the NFL amongst 32 teams. Defensively, okay, middle of the pack, 13th overall in points per game in 2024. Ben Johnson should make the offense better. Defensively, if they take a step back, that could still be a problem for the Chicago Bears 2025-2026. We'll go to the NFC South. We're going to begin with the division winners from last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 10-7 record last year, returning Todd Bowles and the defensive coordinator Larry Foote, but Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator, now in a different team, and that means Josh Grizzard now becomes the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That could be a problem, but if they continue what they were doing, this was a really good offense. Baker Mayfield is still there. Mike Evans is still Mike Evans, excellent, older, but still Mike Evans. You got Tristan Wirfs, currently injured, Vitavier, Aiton Winfield, added Emeka Ibuka, first-round draft pick, kind of to cover for Chris Godwin, that's going to miss a significant part of this season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looking back at last year, 4th best offense in the NFL, 29.5 points. His offense was humming defensively, 16th in points per game, 22.6 points given up. So I would say they want to improve that defense offensively, keep it going, give themselves a chance to compete in the playoffs. And next would be the Atlanta Falcons. Last year, the Atlanta Falcons finished with an 8-9 record. Raheem Morris is still the coach for this team. Zach Robinson and Jeff Ulbrich I will put back. Michael Penix Jr. would be the expected starting quarterback for this team to start the season. And I would say would be the starting quarterback outside of any injuries. Kirk Cousins would still be there, but in the backup role, star players, Bijan Robinson came up very strong end of last year. Chris Lindstrom, right guard, AJ Terrell, the terrific cornerback for this team, and Drake London, former first round wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Notable departures from the team would be Matthew Judon and Brady Jarrett. And looking back to last year, this was a very serviceable offense, 22.9 points scored, 13th in the NFL. They were 5th overall in passing, 239.3 yards passing, 5th overall passing offense in the NFL. Defensively, not very good, 24.9 points given up, 22nd in the NFL. Did nothing really well or really badly, rush and pass, middle of the pack as well. So they got to improve their defense to be more competitive or get to a positive record in 2025. And I think they absolutely can in a poor division. Next up in the NFC South is the Carolina Panthers. And the last season with 5-12 record, retained their coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator as well on this team. Bryce Young is now the starting quarterback entering into the season. Notable departures on this team: Miles Sanders, running back; Shaq Thompson, linebacker; and Jordan Fuller, safety. Last year, offensively, 22nd best offense in points per game, 20.1. Offensively was worst, 31.4 points given up in the NFL. This defense was horrible. Rushing defense, horrible. Run all over this defense, 179.8 rushing yards given up, 32nd in all of the NFL. Just get better. 5 wins last year seemed like decent. This team needs to get better and put themselves in a position to see if Bryce Young can be their quarterback going forward, and also if the coach is the right coach for this team going forward. Next in the NFC South will be the New Orleans Saints. Last year finished 5-12, projected to even be worse than that this year. Rookie head coach Kellen Moore coming in with defensive coordinator Brandon Staley is the defensive coordinator for offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier. Expect the head coach to be calling the plays, so not much of a big deal. Star players: Cameron Jordan, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara. These are all old players, apart from Chris Olave. So see how it goes. Added Tyler Shough as a first-round quarterback. Derek Carr retired. which put their quarterback situation in a really bad spot as well. Last season numbers, horrible offense, 19.9 points per game, 23rd overall in the NFL. Did nothing really well last year offensively. Defensively, even worse, rush defense, 41 rushing yards given up 31st in all of the NFL. Total yards given up 38th in all of the NFL, but gave up only 23.4 points, 19th overall. Means their special teams was pretty good. In New Orleans, what do you expect? A year that you want to assess who you want to keep in your team and who you don't want to keep in your team in New Orleans Saints will be a mess 2025. Now, we're going to go to the final division here for a breakdown of the preview for the 2025-2026 season. NFC West, the LA Rams. Matt Stafford is already dealing with back issues, so that's not good. Last season ended in a 10-7 record. They won the division. Sean McVay is still the coach. Mike LaFleur, defensive coordinator. Chris Shula, defensive coordinator. We've got the star players here. Kobe Turner, defensive tackle. Jared Verse, second-year player. Very good last year. Buchanan Nakua, the excellent wide receiver. Kyron Williams, running back. Lost Cooper Kupp, not much of a difference. Played much last year. Also lost Demarcus Robinson, Johnny Jackson to the Chicago Bears. Last year, offensively, very average, 21.6 points scored, 21st in all of the NFL. Very average, actually not that good. Passing attack, 227 tenths overall in the NFL. Offensively, very average as well, 22.7 points, giving up 17th overall, middle of the pack. If Matt Stafford stays healthy, expecting a similar record and opportunity to compete and improve those defensive young players in the NFC West. Next up is the Seattle Seahawks, second year for Mike Macdonald as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Last year, this team went 10-7 and lost to the Rams in the tiebreaker for the division as well. Starting quarterback brought in Sam Darnold to become their quarterback after letting go of Geno Smith, and he went to sign with the Las Vegas Raiders. Currently, with this team, star players, Leonard Williams, Witherspoon on the defensive side, Rick Woolen on the defensive side as well. Offensively, you got Jackson Smith-Jigba, the young wide receiver as well. Notable additions, Sam Darnold, quarterback, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver, DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end from Dallas. Cowboys, lost DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Geno Smith to the Las Vegas Raiders, Alan Lockett, wide receiver, also gone, playing with the Tennessee Titans, and Russian Jenkins, safety as well, gone last year. Middle of the pack offensively, 22.1 points per game scored, 17th with Geno Smith. Defensively, 12th overall. So I think that defense can even take a step forward to 1.6 points given up by the Seattle Seahawks. The second year for Mike Macdonald, had a pretty good rookie season as a head coach, 10-7. Similar record or more winning division would be considered a good record, and trying to compete in the playoffs as well would be what this team would be looking. Now to the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals head coach, Jonathan Gannon, played really tough last year, 8-9 record. I would like to be better for this team, but still ended up playing hard for this team. They had an 8-9 record last year. Coach, continuity, second year for coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator, Nick Rallis, defensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. Star players on this team, Kyler Murray is the quarterback, Marvin Harrison Jr. is expected to improve. The second year as a top wide receiver, drafted last year. Trey McBride played really well, brought in Josh Sweat as well from the Philadelphia Eagles, defending champions, to be a pass rusher for this team. Last year, 12th overall in points per game, 23.5 points offensively. So a decent offense. This was a top 7 rushing offense. Total yards 11th statistically in the NFL. Defensively, it has to get better. 15th overall points per game, 22.3 points given up last season in the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals, 8-9 last year. Want to get to 10 wins, want to make the playoffs, want to make a push forward as a coaching staff and as an organization to compete finally in the NFC West. We got the San Francisco 49ers. Last year finished bottom of the division, 6-11. Not a normal thing for Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is still there. Clay Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, and Robert Saleh coming back as the defensive coordinator for this team. Brock Purdy signed for over $50 million per year as their quarterback. Star players Christian McCaffrey and Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, if they can stay healthy, pretty good players. Health is always a question for best players. In offseason, Deebo Samuel traded away, Dre Greenlaw defensively gone, Javon Hargrave gone, Talanoa Hufanga gone. Long list of defensive players all gone here for the San Francisco 49ers. Offensively last year, they were average, 22.9, 15 overall. Defensively, they were bad, giving up 25.6 points, 28 overall. Yeah, and if I don't think their defense improves much, but Salah can coach them up a whole lot better. Offensively, the quarterback, that's a huge cap space to go to the quarterback. But one thing I can say is Kyle Shanahan is a pretty good coach. He's going to scheme up the run game, and they should be able to run the ball. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL, looking at the records from last season. So that should help them also come up with a better record than they did last year. 6-11, it's not a high bar to actually improve on for the San Francisco 49ers. So that would be the conclusion of the preview guide. Is just to give a rundown of all the teams, what has been happening, major changes to these teams, coaching, players, a quick rundown here, trying to do it within or less an hour as well. Don't forget liking the content here. Check out the channel. Sports. Peace.